Proverbs 27:15 states as follows: a continual dripping at a very rainy day and a contentious woman are all alike. Whosoever hideth her hideth the wind, and the ointment of his right hand, which bewrayeth itself. What's going on, everybody? My name is Chris Rags and Sola Scriptura. Back with another video. Now granted, it's a few days or many days are removed, almost a week now, has been removed from the situation at the Oscars. And granted, even though many people have already addressed it, many YouTube channels and YouTubers and even news affiliations and such like that, and the fallout and the smoke is pretty much already cleared. However, is what I've not seen from any YouTuber, I may be wrong, feel free to leave it in the comment section, but what I've not seen is anyone address this from a biblical perspective, which is why I started out with the post with a status update, it's just on Facebook, that I wrote the day after the incident occurred. The slap heard around the world occurred, and also I continued with, I opened this video with a quote, with Proverbs, the reading of Proverbs 27:15 and 16, about a continual dripping of a leaky faucet. That's how the author of the proverb, of that particular proverb, has made the comparison, the observation of a nagging woman. Now, I make a lot of, this is a Christian YouTube channel, which is based upon, which of course being titled Sola Scriptura, by the authority of Scripture alone. However, I do also watch, observe, and make a different Manosphere channels, and those Manosphere channels has been ingrained into my channel because I feel that speaking about how men are viewed in society, men, fathers, boys, husbands, are really destroyed in a sense in society and are demeaned and looked down upon, and because of the patriarchy and toxic masculinity and all these little buzzwords that come from the woke left. This needs to be addressed. The issue about alimony, the breakdown of child custody, divorce settlements, all of these things need to be addressed. And they are rarely, actually, they're never addressed by the Christian community. So I wanted to be the first to do so. Will Smith is an example of what occurs when Proverbs 30, let's go ahead, Proverbs 20, is in 31, where it reads as follows, verses 3. Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. Some people may observe Will Smith as a king, as having a successful person. He is, yes, having made it, American way of life. In society, in America, he is viewed as a high value man. However, though, he is destroyed. He has broken down many pegs throughout the centuries, throughout the years and the decades of this failed marriage. It is a failure because it is not one. Obviously, it's not biblical. It's an open marriage. Where Jada Pinkett Smith speaks openly and candidly, and in a sense, almost like braggadociously, about sleeping with other men, or this one man that we know of, that society knows of, and very open and unashamed and without remorse. Whereas that's just a sign of these modern women today, which I really, again, tapping back into the Manosphere, where we just many voices within that community are taught just ignore them, and to be about your purpose. And but however though, because there are many relationship guys out there that who pursue a relationship and still desire children and a family and children and want to spread their legacy to their children. Okay, I get it. But if you're going to go out there, you really got to vet and vet and vet and vet and vet. And even in when times pass that men do vet their desired wives and mothers of their future children, they vet them, have vetted them for years and grew up together, probably high school friends, childhood friends, college friends, whatever, sweethearts. But yet still something is bound to happen. And whereas the woke culture and society and her bad news friends say, hey, you can have it all. You can have this traditional man, but you can also chase after the bad boys. And so that's why I speak about these things. Her, Jada Pinkett Smith, going back to her, as she has emasculated Will Smith throughout the years, throughout the duration of this failed marriage, she has spoken many times about a former fling. How do I know this? Because there was a letter that her daughter, I forget her daughter's name, Jalen, I believe, wrote to Tupac. Tupac Shakur, the rapper who died in like 96 or what it was gunned down in after the Mike Tyson fight in 96. Her daughter wrote about how much Jada misses Will Smith. Misses Tupac. But key on this, the daughter wasn't even around. One, she was not around, obviously, when they were together. She's not a product of Jada and Tupac's relationship. Neither was she even alive when Tupac was alive. But how does she know about all this stuff then? She wasn't even alive when he was alive. It's because her mom told her these things. And if her mom's telling her these things, it immediately puts in that child's mind and the daughter's mind, as well as it breeds in the mother's own mind, is that sense of comparison, always comparing Will Smith to Tupac, and that's what happens. And Will Smith, how do I know this? Because he has openly stated this. She's always comparing me to her past flings. She's always comparing me to him, Tupac, the bad boy. I wanted to mention this is, again, I touched on at the alimony breakdowns. I look in Hollywood, they're weird couples, and the relation to marriages only lasts like in the case of Kim Kardashian and what Chris Humphries it only lasts like 40 days or something, or 41 days. Or there'll be other marriages that last 10 years and a day, like Janet Jackson, and she was married for one extra day in California so she can be eligible for a lifetime alimony. Or when she divorced the billionaire and I think pocketed like $200 million in a divorce settlement. It's like, why is this stuff the way it is? And I actually caught flack from my fellowship, from my congregation, the pastor, elder, a very good friend, older woman at my congregation, because I spoke against government ordained or government appointed marriages. What I said, in the Bible, we don't have governments overseeing our marriage, overseeing our intimate relationships. Why does the government need to be involved in my intimate relationship? It should be just me, her, and Yahuah. It's the government saying, hey, your marriage is not valid until we recognize it. No, Big Daddy government recognizes it. Big Brother, who has all of these breakdowns, laws, whatever, that immediately promotes fatherlessness epidemic in the home. Like say, the ratio between women with mothers and fathers being granted full custody It's 5-1, 83% of the time versus 17%. Look it up. There is also the no that looking at again. Why is alimony really? Why is alimony a thing? I understand the origin of it. I've looked this up, going back to the origin of alimony payments and such. Because back in the days of the war, WW1 and WW2, the men were leaving their families so they can go fight. Okay, but we're not doing that stuff anymore. This is some 80 years removed from those times when these things were originally these archaic laws that the woke left loves to shout against. Oh, this stuff. No, you're reading from a Bible that's archaic and outdated and needs to be okay. Well, what about these divorce laws? What about these child custody things? I mean, how is child custody broken down, and why is it that again it's a 5-1 clip, but yet there's no validation for it. Yes, there are men, say like professional athletes and actors and such, who are on the road, like even like the WWE, which I watch occasionally. Wrestlers who are on the road 300 days of the year, so they would rather it would be more beneficial towards the child, to the benefit of the child, right? More beneficial to the child to leave him at home with the mother, in a matter of divorce, but any other time. But that's just a small minority. It's just a small minority for the regular common guys like myself. For people who might not make that much, have that much income, or have that much status, and who are so busy, have schedules that are so busy, there's no justification for it. There is none. I mean, and the amount of fathers who have legit abandoned their children versus those loving fathers who desire to see their children on a regular basis but cannot because of how these laws are structured, to break down structure, it's just really disappointing. It's laughable. It's evil. It's completely one-sided, gender biased. It's sexist. All them other things. All those things that people that the feminists and the woke left like to say, toxic masculinity and patriarchy and blah 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 blah, and all of these, the pay gap and all. You're shouting about all this stuff, which has been debunked many times. But what about this? What about this issue? I think the only person actually speaking about it is like Candace Owens and Larry Elder. That's about it. What about these issues? Fatherlessness in America. You're causing it. You're causing it. Don't go crying at the border like AOC, and then yet no laws, the Senate, the Congress, nobody ever talks about this. Come on. Man, I went off on a tangent. This modern woman who openly and unashamedly was sleeping with a man who was half her age, and her just a few years older than her son's friend actually. Wears the pants of the family, the pants in the household. Even her son, should have been. It's really sad. Even her son was asking about on Twitter a while back, was asking about how he can divorce from his family because his family is so dysfunctional. He just wants to divorce from his family so he can be on his own. This kind of thing is happening more often. It's more prevalent. Yes, in the big cities, the big cities that are the blue states, but also I'm pointing it out because, like what stated in my post, this can be coming to a doorstep near you. If you are still those relationship guys who still might want to go like thinking like, oh man, I could go down south, or I find a good country girl or a good Christian girl, and find a girl in church, anything like that, or we grew up together, we have a strong foundation, friendship, anything like that, it can still happen. This is why it's just like, again, it can come to a doorstep near you. I speak to the men in general. Yes, anyone is free to chime in on it. It's free to comment. But what happened at the Oscars should have sent red flags to all of the men sirens all going off to all of the men in the United States, in Western society, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, South America, possibly. You, you just can't really be too certain, too sure, too certain. I actually combine both of the words together. Certain. That's a new word. Yeah. Maybe Webster's gonna coin it just like they coined the words twerk and other foolishness. Whatever. Again, my name is Chris Ferguson. It's Sola Scriptura. Let me know how you feel in the comment section about this particular thing, as well as going back from a biblical perspective. The biblical woman is outlined in Proverbs 31:10 through verses 31:10 through the close. Read that. If a woman wants to know how to make herself desirable, that is, she desires a child, desires a relationship, desires a good man. That's how you do it. Dress modestly, 2 Timothy. Dress modestly. Don't be contentious. Don't always be nagging. Don't always be like these boss chicks, brawling women who want to, it's my way or that way. I'm like, no. I once heard from this one YouTuber. I know his video's long, but this guy said his marriage is a dictatorship. It's a dictatorship. That means it's his way or the highway. It's his purpose, and she is an asset or a complement. Genesis chapter 2, verse 26. She is a complement to him to help insinuate. I believe that's the real word, the actual word, to help add to his life. But she is not the focal point, never to be the focal point of his life, which is why even in this proverb, 31:3, do not give your strength to a woman. Your purpose, your strength, all of our strength in the biblical structure of the relationship, of just the marriage, of power, of positions of power, positions of authority, is Yahuah, Messiah, husband, mother, children. That's how it's supposed to be. It's the biblical structure, but it's been just destroyed, demeaned by society, by woke feminist women, by boss chicks, by the media, Hollywood, television sitcoms, always portraying the men that look like bumbling idiots, and women come in and say today, consider like Married with Children. I grew up with Married with Children, The Simpsons, Homer and Marge, stuff like that. Even Family Guy, I guess. Come on. There's coming a day where, the marriage statistics are steadily on a decline. Less and less men are getting married. Less and less college men are getting married. There's a statistic somewhere out there about there's some 30% of men in college have not had a relationship. They are still virgins. Upwards of 30%. They don't even want to have to deal with them. They're just finding ways to just, I can just be better by myself. Focus on my faith, my family, my fitness, and my finances. No time for females. Maybe I should consider doing that. Anyway, anywho, my name is Chris Ferguson. Until next time.